Fashion is art. Fashion is expression. And sometimes it's a desperate scream into the void. But what if I told you it wasn't just a hat, but a cry for help?
Why do celebrities do this? And more importantly, why does it work?
Hi Pookie, it's Sash. As you can tell, the vibe of today's video is a bit different. The camera angle is actually because I just forgot to charge my camera, so I'm using my phone. And yeah, I'm just not letting anything stop me. This video is getting filmed today. And there's also construction outside, so if you hear it, don't mind it. And also I decided to try out a new hairstyle. I was just feeling different, so bear with me. If you like it, then that's great. And if you don't like it, I kinda don't care. So let's move on. Jaden's fashion choices can be seen as a PR tactic, similar to Lady Gaga's meat dress or Kanye's homeless chic era. An outlandish outfit makes even the irrelevant relevant again. A few people believe that there's a hidden message to his outfit, and others think it simply doesn't make sense to have a house on your head at the Grammys. It looks like he has a lot on his mind. Is this a genuine attempt to spark meaningful conversations, or is it a desperate cry for attention?
2024 case study, The Long-Term Effects of Young Love, is really a snapshot of my mental state currently when it comes to trying to be a human and relate with people in the digital age that we live in. The mental landscapes of people are changing, and the psychology of people is changing. Honestly, I just wanted to make this sad, and it's my sadness that connects me with my community and my fans. I'm hoping that I can leave enough information behind for psychologists of the future to look back and be like, man, what was really wrong with this guy? Like, there's some serious stuff that's wrong with him. Like, what is it?
Why is it important to be able to cry?
I just think that you'll just fill up with water if you don't. I think people will just fill up with water and drown from the inside.
Sometimes when I hang out with other people that are my age and they're just kind of just selfie. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my God, like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
Jaden is trying to sell the vibe of a higher thinker. Someone commented, he's trying so hard to sound smart that he sounds dumb. The things he says come across as fake wisdom because of his generic tone. And it's not bad, but don't you think that someone who really cared about these topics would have more to say about it than the things we've just been hearing for years? It reminds me of when men say tampons should be free to make it seem like they understand the struggles that women go through. But that's just about as deep as their ankle-level feminism is gonna go. Influence happens when your thoughts, speech, and actions are in alignment. From what we see when Jaden's talking about his thoughts behind his music or his acting, it's not necessarily aligned with his tweets on Twitter. And sometimes the messaging of his music clashes with his actions. And because he seemingly doesn't seek out criticism or try to understand why some of the things he does receive backlash, he never really improves. This stagnation as an artist can feel like torture, because it's like, why am I not growing? Why is no one quoting me or my songs? And outside the context of my close fans, why is the impact not being seen? Why can't someone who doesn't enjoy my music at least say that they find my message real, true, or good? Because of all these questions that he's not doing the work to find the answers to, he just reduces himself to the tortured artist. From my observations, it seems like Jaden defines the tortured artist as the artist whose philosophy and message is not received. But this is a misconception. The tortured artist's message is received, but somehow it's too painful or too unconventional to be translated into material success. I feel that very few will resonate with Jaden's message, because not only is it weak, but it's also scattered, unrefined, and not grounded in reality. I feel like the whole tortured artist act is not genius, but it's rather misguided. It reminds me of when I was younger and I didn't know what the word meant. I looked it up and found a definition that was something along the lines of when something causes a lot of discourse. So then I was like, okay, what does discourse mean? And then the synonym was fight. So in my mind, controversial basically meant something that causes people to fight. And by that logic, I went around telling people pineapple on pizza is controversial, which isn't entirely wrong, but it's not necessarily right either. Over time, with context and better understanding, we come to see that controversial means something that's usually taboo or sensitive to talk about because it evokes strong emotions and passionate debates. The Oxford definition is causing a lot of angry public discussion and disagreement. And that's where Jaden comes in. His house hat, for example, could be a cry of help for the homeless people. But here's the problem. This man does not do anything to help fix homelessness at the root. He provides food, which is great. It's an act of kindness, which is highly respectable. But from what I'm aware of, he's only done this once publicly. That's not a movement. That's not a message. And that's not even a brand play. It's a moment. And moments don't create change. So what message do we receive as viewers when we see things like this? This is what happens when you make crap and your parents do nothing but praise you. This is what happens when you grow up around people who think the ground they walk on should be kissed. This is what happens when you lack humility and fail to grasp the reality of people whose lives are vastly different and often worse than yours. A lot of people think that Jaden needs help. The bottom line is that the message that he is sending, intentionally or not, is help me. And while media speculation such as this
love him, Ellen. I love
suggests that he grew up in a way that led to this, I don't believe that mental health dictates the quality of the art. Some of the greatest masterpieces have been created by people who are struggling with depression, anxiety, or worse. I absolutely want Jaden to get the help that he deserves, but this doesn't mean that he has to stop creating art. Art can be an outlet, but right now, his work feels less like expression and more like noise. Jaden's public persona isn't one that I see often, but when I do, it's never good. I can appreciate the good parts though. He promotes not fitting in. His outfit choices show us very clearly that he no longer cares about what's normal. He admitted that in the past, trying so hard to be normal was very exhausting and it made him more critical of himself. That part, I get it and I respect it. It's the pursuit of authenticity. But here's the thing, instead of truly finding out what it is that he likes, it seems like he's making sure that nothing he does is normal. It's rebellion for rebellion's sake. And sure, that's a step up from trying to fit in, but maybe there's an even bigger step to take. Maybe his style would be bold, funky patterns. Maybe it would lean into maximalism. Maybe his aesthetic would be defined by not having a defined aesthetic. Something more abstract than practical. But right now, it still feels like he's trying to prove something rather than just being something. Another way that he could improve his public persona, actually standing for something. Now, some people might bring up the fact that Jaden has a water company, Just Water, a non-profit that provides filtration systems for clean drinking water. And yes, that's a good thing. I'll give him that. But here's the issue. His public persona isn't benefiting from it the way it could. When you think of Jaden Smith, do you immediately think, oh yes, that's the guy who's saving the environment and helping people get clean water? No, because that's not how he presents himself. Compare that to someone like Selena Gomez. Her whole brand aligns with empowerment, and then she launches Rare Beauty with her mental health initiative. Or Lady Gaga, who has spent her career advocating for individuality and queer rights, and then backs it up with activism that people actually see. When actions match messaging, it builds a stronger narrative. With Jaden, the work is definitely happening, but it's disconnected from his public image. If he really leaned into this, if he actively championed these causes with the same energy he puts into his abstract fashion statements, people would talk. Not just about what he's wearing, but about what he's doing. And right now, he seems lost in his own head, which isn't surprising given the access to resources he's had since birth. But resources alone don't give you depth. If he really wanted to go beyond surface level, he could work with non-profit organizations. He's done charity work in the past, but donating food to homeless people once doesn't change the issue of homelessness. If he actually wanted to make a difference, he would dig deeper. How do people become homeless? What's the simplest way to help them get housing? What programs exist? What are their core values? Do they align with mine? This is how real change happens. When you walk the talk, people start talking on your behalf. Opportunities start falling into your lap because you have the one thing that people actually need: passion. When I say this, I'm reminded of the time when the Notre Dame burnt down. The amount of wealthy, well-connected people swooping in to save the day. was actually insane. The world will never lack money or solutions, but what it does lack is people with the will to do something. Some people may ask, okay, what's in it for him? Other than contributing to the greater good? Everything. More people would love him. More people would want to work with him. And that means more money, more connections, and more momentum for any other ventures that he wants to pursue. Even if some people only worked with him to look like they care, he would still benefit, because when you actually embody your message, people don't just listen, they advocate for you. Right now, Jaden is lost, and his message is lost with him. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed, make sure to subscribe, and comment down below any other videos you would like me to make. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!